Culture refers to our shared values, beliefs, customs, attitude, and practice, right? What are some of the ways the Ministry of Culture ensures that our culture is preserved?
Well, the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, our mandate is to ensure that we promote our culture, entertainment, and the creative industries. And so we have several ways of ensuring that we preserve, we unearth, we promote, and we showcase. And through the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, which is the main organization in relation to the intangible cultural heritage, the performing arts, the visual and fine arts, we have what we call a Festival of Arts, which is held in the early part of the year. We do workshops, we go across the island, we unearth talent, and we groom the talent. And usually about February or so, we have the Festival of Arts competitions where we select parish winners, and then parish winners participate in the national finals where they receive gold, silver, bronze awards. And from the winning groups, we now take the talent and showcase some of the talent during the independence celebrations. The traditional culture, such as our folk forms and the various Afrocentric elements of our culture, such as Kumina and revival, that's an older generation. But to ensure that it's preserved, what we have done is to continue to promote these art forms, the traditional art forms, in communities as well as in the schools. So you will have various school choirs or dancers who will learn the traditional songs and learn the traditional movements. In addition to that, we have the African Caribbean Institute of Jamaica, where we have a fantastic archive of interviews, oral stories that have been recorded over the years. And at this time I would want to recognize the work of the late Olive Lewin, Dr. Olive Lewin, who had done a lot of research in that area. But there's a wonderful archive of these traditional forms, oral, particularly our traditional stories and traditional dances and religious practices. We also we work closely with the National Library, which falls under this ministry as well, and we ensure that our records are kept. For example, the National Library has a very good collection of film that were part of the JBC TV archives, and they now have the things that were on film as opposed to video. Videotapes are in the archives of the PBCJ. But government has ensured that we preserve all these traditions, both in terms of oral traditions, intangible culture, cultural heritage, and I may want to at this point mention too that the built heritage is also preserved through the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. The Cultural Passport Program is a project out of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, but administered by the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission. And the cultural passport is to promote our cultural sites and our cultural heritage. So where if one were to visit a heritage site and there may be an admission fee, by having the cultural passport, it provides you with a discounted admission or admission for free. And we promote the cultural passports in schools and in communities. And what it does is to encourage students as well as community groups to visit our sites and to learn more about our heritage.
You have spearheaded a number of activities designed to preserve Jamaica's cultural, both tangible and intangible heritage. Tell us about it.
I've spearheaded the designation of reggae music on the Intangible Cultural Heritage List for Humanity, which is a UNESCO designation. And of course, we have the Blue and Jankro Mountains, which is also a designation, an inscription where the Blue and Jankro Mountains have been so recognized by UNESCO. And of course, Kingston is the Creative City of Music, another designation by UNESCO. We are now working on having revival, which is Afro-Christian religion, being recognized by UNESCO and to be inscribed on the Intangible Cultural Heritage List. So we are in that process right now, where we have submitted our nomination, and we will shortly be sending a video production of the revival being performed. We have, with the support of UNESCO, held several workshops last year, and we would have continued this year except for the COVID-19 intervention. So what we have been doing is having these workshops and getting communities to recognize these traditions and to find ways of preserving what they have identified as traditions over the years. And so we will continue those workshops. We continue to collect artifacts. We will continue to collect some of the performances, both in terms of recordings, audio recordings, as well as video recordings. We were able to, some years ago, we were able to get the Miss Lou archives based on an agreement with Miss Lou, which is housed at the National Library. But it took some time to digitize and to get all of that on the National Library website. In addition to that, there were sections of Miss Lou's archives which were in her possession in Canada when she lived in Canada. And on her passing, her estate worked out an arrangement with McMaster University. And so what we now have is a partnership with McMaster University and the National Library. And so we're able to access both sets of archives online, and also in relation to exhibitions and so on, we are able to share that partnership both in Toronto, Canada, as well as in Jamaica.
What are some of the plans for this year's emancipation, or let's say independence celebration? Because you always have big plans.
We had big plans to be live and exciting as usual. But because of the coronavirus, we have had to rethink our approach. So we won't be able to have this massive audience in the National Stadium or at the Independence Village as we have had in the past. So we have gone virtual. But it's still big, it's huge. And the festival song is one such activity. I held a think tank very early this year, or it could have been late last year, where I invited the music industry to come and let us think how we can reignite and revitalize the festival song competition. We had an excellent turnout, people across media, the entertainment, fraternity, etc. When the festival song competition first started in 1966, it was Mr. Seaga who said, I want something that will ignite and call nation to action. I want something that will be on the lips of every man, woman, and child. And so he introduced the festival song competition. So it's the longest running festival song competition in this part of the world. And the music industry, the recording industry, they were at the base of this, and they entered the competition, and it was really an exciting period. And you know the names, Toots and the Maytals, Eric Donaldson, Hopeton Lois, Desmond Decker, and we could go on and on. Those names you have heard of. You're too young to to actually know them, but those were exciting times. And so I wanted to get that back. I wanted to create that excitement once more. And so that think tank was successful. And out of that, we ended up with several entries from established artists in the music industry, some old, some new. And a judging panel was set up. We had 150 entries, and the entries were drawn from across the island because there were several auditions being held in the parishes, and the live auditions were recorded as well. So the over 150 entries, they were all recordings, either produced songs sent in, which is also a part of the normal arrangement, as well as the live auditions, which was a new introduction into the festival song competition, where live auditions would be held and recorded. And all the recordings were listened to by this panel. And it was narrowed down to 10 finalists. Now, the songs, when they were listening to them, the panel would not be aware of the names of the performers or the writers, because these songs would be identified by title and a number. And at the end of that, once they have selected the 10, at that point, that's after which that the JCDC would be able to say these are the top 10 entries. And of course, while they were doing that process, there was an auditor from the JCDC monitoring the process for transparency. Well, in the end, we ended up with a mix of established artists and new artists. And the competition is not just for the performer, but it's for the songwriter and the producer. So we now, we're going virtually because we can't go across the island and have the live shows. So what we have been able to do is to get the songs on online platforms. And I mean, I'm really happy to announce that we're going to be on Amazon, Spotify, and all these other platforms for the first time. So it's historic, you know. So this will make the songs available worldwide. And what it will do is expand the stage. So the world is now our stage for the Festival Song Competition. And I just want to emphasize that nobody is barred from entering. Established performers and non-established. What we want though is a level of professionalism, and that is important. And so that is the aim of the competition. And the bottom line, it must be a song. The winning song must be a song that is going to be on the lips of every man, woman, and child. This year also, the voting will be by the public. And we are partnered with Digicel. And Digicel will, like they do with Rising Star, open up the lines. Each contestant will be assigned a telephone number, and the public can vote for his or her song. So it's huge this year. The prize money is $3 million to be shared between the producer, the singer, and the songwriter. In some instances, the singer is the songwriter and is a producer. So I mean, where, you know, it is so, the winner would take all. But it's exciting times, and we're very happy about that.